Good morning, good evening, or good night, folks. I'm your host, Simon Redhand, and welcome back to Gaming Redhanded. The live stream with the version 1.2 update has just finished with the devs. They've gone over some interesting information, some interesting news about the new scenario, how it works, the rules, the new prizes coming up, all that stuff we're going to go over, and new codes. I'll throw it up on screen also for those who missed it. That way you can get your 1000 Starchrom. We're going to go through this all step by step today. As always, when it comes time to read some news for ONCEHUMAN, I got to sit down in the old trusty lounge chair and pull up all the good facts. First things first, let's get out the way that the mobile technical test will be starting in about 30 minutes from now. By the time this movie gets up to it, it'll probably be already up. This test is going to be qualified for most newer phones, stuff like that. I'm going to be playing it just to see how it runs on the phone. I don't plan on playing the game on the phone itself. I'm going to have the test done just in case there's some kind of rewards, stuff like that for participating and helping out. I will do my part to submit bug reports if there are bug reports to find, but the reality is I'm not a mobile game player. I don't care about this game working on mobile at all, but I will play it. I figured I'd let people know just in case they want to get onto it. The test itself, if your phone qualifies, it'll be a first come first serve basis to get access to the test. The PC version can also get access to the test. It's going to be separate from the main game. On to what matters most. The stream itself covered a few things that were very exciting. They told us that on the 26th, the new scenario is going to start. It's going to be a truncated scenario where it's only going to last 19 days versus the usual length of the scenario time, which is 6 weeks. It's going to be broken into 3 weeks phase setup, where the first phase lasts 5 days, second phase lasts 7 days, third phase lasts 7 days, and then of course the usual winding down phase. Let's do a quick summary of some of the smaller things that people might be interested in. They talk about that gender change is on the way, because people were asking about being able to change their gender with the character creator. The Prime War optimization will be coming in October. There's no plan for arena mode or arena mode PvP. The more furniture blueprints coming. The max build limit won't be increased anytime soon, but the devs are testing the upper limits. What else? There's no plan for a market or auction system. Unfortunately, people would like that. They're going to improve the reporting interface, automatic screenshots, all that kind of stuff there when you report. If you take a look at the screen right now, the first code that they put out is on screen. I'm going to put that in the comment section. Here's the second code here that they popped up. Again, this code is going to be put down into the comment section. So let's talk about the new scenario. There's two factions. There's the Mayflies and the Rosetta faction. The idea is as soon as the scenario starts off, you're going to choose what faction you're going to join right from the beginning, and you're going to be locked into that. It's similar to the Horde-verse alliance that you find in World of Warcraft and other games like that. However, what is going to be a big deal is the fact that they've got this streamer event going on where big popular streamers are also going to be picking a faction, and whatever faction they choose is going to have another overarching war going on based on their progress. And how I feel is whatever faction Asmongold chooses is the faction you want to be on, because you're going to be overwhelmed otherwise. That I could be wrong about that, but I got a great feeling that whatever faction he chooses is going to heavily sway this aspect of the PvP war. I'll tell you this right now, if you're on a faction on the opposing side of whatever streamers on that list, you're not going to have an enjoyable time. I get that you have the great confidence of all get out that you're going to be able to beat them, but this is a numbers game and you're going to lose it. Whatever server Asmongold's on, I would suggest you try to get on that and be on this faction. That way you can get the global prizes. I wouldn't take this as an opportunity to go try your luck against beating him and his army, or Soda Pop and the rest of them. It's not going to be good for you to be on the wrong side of whatever faction these guys are on. I don't like this Twitch streamer faction war that they have planned here. I don't think it's going to be good for this event. I understand why they're doing it. Anything Asmongold touches is going to go viral, right? They're going to need the exposure. More players coming in, showing off the changes they've made and the progress they've made for the game is going to be good for them. More players getting to see that this game is not pay to win, even though it's a free-to-play game. There's very substantive. It's going to be good for them. I get it from a marketing standpoint why it's going to be positive, but for people who are, first of all, not really into PvP like that, but gonna do it because they gotta kill time for 2 weeks, it's not gonna be good for you. It's not gonna be good for the majority of players who want to do this and they end up on the wrong side of whatever top tier streamer they put on the opposite end. It's not gonna be enjoyable for a lot of people doing this and not being on the right side. I apologize for interrupting the video, but we do need to appease the almighty algorithm. So if you guys like the content, please like the video, leave a comment down below so I can hear your thoughts. And if you like the channel and want to support me on this journey, please subscribe. Event that they got going around right now, the main focus is you come in, you choose a faction, and then you're going to be going through and capturing deviants. And then while you try to capture these deviants, it's going to give global progress to your faction. Similar to how the Prime Wars are currently handled on week 5, the new PvP scenario is going to be 19 days exactly. It's going to be 3 phases long. First phase is going to be 5 days long. The second phase is going to be 7 days long. And the third phase is going to be 7 days long also. You're not going to be barred from joining a new PvE scenario that starts up in October on the 17th. The idea is they want you to really be able to bid into this new PvP scenario, choose your faction, participate. Don't have to worry about losing any items when you get killed. Don't have to worry about losing any of your gear. Basically similar to penalty-less PvP that you find in Sprout Wars and Highway Pursuit, things like that. But there are going to be faction-based objectives. There's going to be no war bands at all. It's only going to be either solo play or like small group play, which is pretty good. I was worried that war bands would run wild on this, and I was worried that this would be a disgusting experience for people like me who aren't PvPers, but you know, I need them. That's Starchrom. They allude to the fact that you can raid each other's territories. People are going to raid your territory. I don't understand the importance of building a fortress and a base, stuff like that, because I don't really know how you're going to be able to defend yourself as a solo player. Are turrets really going to help you? Can demons help you? If I got a bunch of nutcrackers, is that going to help? Is that where they'd be giving us nutcrackers? Well, we'll see. The victory conditions for the winning factions are as follows. You fight over prism deviations in the wilderness, then secure them to earn prism energy for your faction. The faction that has the most prism energy at the end of the 19 days are declared the victors. How you go about capturing prism energy is like this. You capture the deviant and then you have to bring them back to your base in order to secure them. From what they've said, securing takes a certain amount of time, ranging from 30 minutes all the way up to 2 hours long, and the points you get as low as 10 points per deviant all the way up to 400 for some of the rare and special ones. Here's how we get all these deviants. Fishing in contested areas, so basically fishing anywhere outside of a safe zone, gathering out anywhere outside of a safe zone, the public crisis events, so stuff like Dig to Hell, Operation Chiron, the Disco, and then the Berserkosaurus Rex and the Radiant one are going to be found in the Manibus, of course. Manibus currently drops by the wind. As long as you're doing the high risk events as they show up, you're going to have a chance at getting one of these deviants, and then you're going to have to secure them after you find them. You have to be in a contested zone to secure a prism deviation. They take between 30 minutes and 2 hours to secure depending on the rarity, and if you teleport, enter a safe zone, if you get killed by another player, or you enter a dungeon while carrying the deviation in your backpack, the prism deviation will escape and return to the contested area. Also, prism deviations will escape if they're in your securement chambers and they get killed while you're in your territory. So basically, when you have one of these things in your bag, you just need to keep it for 30 minutes without being killed. I imagine there's going to be a lot of rust bases showing up, a lot of mines and mazes, and the bases you're going to have to build to secure these things so people can't just steal them. They're going to be crazy and out of this world. When you have a deviation that can be used for prism points, it shows as a red signature on the map, and the more you have congregated in one spot, the bigger the heat signature is. The idea is, because this is a faction-based thing, you're supposed to surround yourself with allies, and you're supposed to just all huddle together and make sure that you don't lose your deviant. You guys go to war against whatever factions coming against you to stake you, but you can't hide. They know where you are, and it's basically a big beacon on you, and you have to hold some of these things for 2 hours. I'm not a PvPer, so none of this sounds enjoyable to me. I'm going to be doing it, but I'm not excited for this at all. I'm excited to get some new deviants. I just don't know how I feel about the way this is going to be executed right now. I feel like it's going to be complete chaos. So basically, according to this map here, for the first 5 days of the scenario, we have access to everything except for Chalk Peak and the Red Sands. For the first week, that's all we have access to. It's going to be an accelerated leveling path, so I expect people to hit level 50 on the first day. Second phase, which lasts 7 days, is going to give you access to Chalk Peaks, and what we're going to be able to do during that phase, the same dungeons we had in the first week, along with Paradise Lost, Operation Chiron, and then the rest of the securement cells. Third week, we're gonna have access to the entirety of the map, everything else that's available, right? So we get Leah Labs there, Forsaken Giant there, the usual thing, right? I like this accelerated pace. If they went back for the PvE scenario and gave us the same 6 weeks, but the first 3 weeks are accelerated like this, I wouldn't have much of a problem with it, right? Because then you'd be able to get the grinding real early on. But there are some concerns people have, such as, do I have to go join this if I'm not a PvP fan? You don't have to go join this. The rules are still the same when it comes to server transfers. You are allowed to stay on your server during the settlement phase. You have up to 4 weeks in order to decide to do that. This is only a 19-day thing, so by the time the new servers open up, you'll be able to bid into it no problem. So if you don't want to go PvP at all and you just want to stay and grind out your weekly purifications, keep doing your controllers, you can stay on the server you're currently on and do that for 4 weeks after the week 6 settlement phase. So you got time. There's no rush. There's no reason to worry that you have to go jump in and be miserable PvPing. You're gonna be fine. The rewards, they're kind of handled the exact same way they're handled with the week 5 global Manimus awards, where everyone works together and then we eventually lock. This is gonna be giving Starchrom in intervals. As you can see there, like the Nutcracker event, there has a scroll list. There's a whole bunch of things we're gonna be getting there, and then there's also personal awards. Apart from the server wide rewards, there's also going to be the weekly seasonal goals that's gonna give you personal Starchrom as well, right? So you got a lot to do in 19 days. They also talk about these legacy of conflict loot crates. I don't know what these are, but what they say is if you win you get 9, if you lose you get 6, and if you tie you both get 9. So I would say the optimal play is for everyone to tie, but we're not going to do that. Everybody's competitive. I don't know what's in these crates. They didn't talk about what's in these crates. You get rewarded based on your ranking in this thing here, just similar to the wilderness race that they had going on there that was completely destroyed because of exploit. They're saying that you get a reward based on how you rank in this faction war, and then you get to share that reward with other players. So you can get 2 rewards based on, you know, if you rank whatever ranking it is, whatever words you get for ranking, and then you can share that with a friend or something like that. Again, I don't know how this is going to play out. It sounds awful on paper, I'm being serious. I don't. So just to recap, this starts on the 26th of September, which is going to be a few days from now. It runs until October 17th. It's exactly 19 days long, and you're not going to be barred from participating in it. So if you're on a PvE server now, you can bid into it and still participate. If you're on a PvP server, you can bid into it and participate. You don't have to worry that if you take part in this event, you're going to miss out on being able to join the winter season that starts on October 17, because it is being designed so that you can immediately transition from this server right into the PvE scenario when it comes out. They discussed the creative scenario workshop, which sounds fantastic for the community. They want to hear from the community. They want the community to submit ideas for what they think new scenarios and future scenarios should be. And the people who submit the best ideas, they'll consider giving them a prize, and then even consider implementing these scenarios into the game in the future. Now this is great. I'm a big fan of devs reaching out to the community and asking for their feedback. I'm going to be personally submitting my own scenarios because I do think I have something to contribute to this conversation, but it is, without trying to, you know, be rude about it, is an indication that they are. I don't think they expected the success they had. I think that this game blew up really fast, faster than they expected, and they are worried that whatever they had in the tank is probably going to burn out faster than they can implement it. So I think it's a great idea that they know early on that they need brainchilds helping them out here so they can make sure that this game stays running strong. I'm not against it. I'm not against them looking to the community. I think there are some brilliant minds there from players, and players can come up with some really, I hope when they do this creative workshop thing, they have like a, before they decide whatever they're going to implement as the winner, they give the community a chance to see what it is that they decided was the top, say 10, and the community gets to vote on it. And I wouldn't even say give feedback, but just literally a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of system, so we can see what other players are thinking also, right? The breeding system, a new structure to build called the Youngling Hut. It's going to allow you to breed up certain type of animals you find. Animals are going to have rare prints, different patterns, things like this, and then when you breed them together, you're going to be able to create new combinations and stuff like that. It sounds good from the way this gentleman explained it on the stream, so I'm looking forward to trying it. They talked about Eternal Land having this new system here where players are going to be able to see your front door, as they called it. People are going to be able to look at your Eternal Land, give it a like, and if enough people like it, it starts growing your platform out. So it'll get to a point where the more likes your Eternal Land gets, the more it can be visible by other people, and they can visit your Eternal Land. And Eternal Land doesn't exist to me. Everything that goes to Eternal Land on my character is going there to disappear and die forever. So this doesn't mean anything to me, this feature, but it's cool for people who like, you know, going ham and building, you know, recreations of the cities in Lord of the Rings or whatever. If they want to do that, right? I'm glad that those guys have something they can do. I'm not against this feature. I think it's kind of cool for those guys, but to me, this entire feature, I don't care that it's here. Fabled Mazimun sword is going to be getting a blueprint, because if you guys notice, there are no melee blueprints. We only have the axe and the baton and then that torch. There are a lot of melee weapons in the game that are drop only. The fabled Mazamoon is getting a blueprint and they're making a big deal out of it. I don't understand why it's not currently a blueprint. I don't understand why the axe is not currently a blueprint. I don't understand why that stop sign weapon is not currently a blueprint, or the sledgehammer. There's a bunch of weapons in this game that should already be a blueprint that aren't. For some reason, this requires fanfare. Hopefully they add the rest of the melee weapons into the game, but in my opinion, melee weapons don't matter to me at all until they have some sort of stat stick kind of appeal where just being equipped gives you a buff, because right now weapon swapping and animation canceling melee weapons out to get their buffs is clunky and cumbersome. I don't care what anyone tries to tell me. It is not something I like doing in normal gameplay. I can do it. I don't do it because I don't think it's effective, and you can feel free to argue with me in the comments all day long to try to tell me that I'm wrong. Here's something that people aren't going to like. This is part of their next loot box. First vehicle skin for the four-wheeler. This is going to be for the coupe, of course. This is, they call it Speedy Wings, which is a stupid name. This skin looks amazing. However, it's going to be $200. Assume it's going to be $200. You might get lucky getting your first 10 loot boxes, but for everybody else, assume this car skin is $200. Cool car skin. I'm glad they have a car skin. I do not like that it is a $200 loot box skin, but you know, there's gonna be some new Twitch drops going on. I know people had trouble with their Twitch drops before. If you're having trouble with your Twitch drops, the way to fix that is as follows. Go back to the ONCEHUMAN page. At the top, click Twitch drops. When you come here to link your account, I'm not gonna scroll down, show my account, anything like that. Unlink everything you have there and relink everything again. And make sure you do this every time you change servers, because it does not update your server. People who aren't receiving their Twitch drops, the reason why you're not receiving your Twitch drops is because it's going to your old server. For some people, this worked for them. I had to basically unlink my account and relink it, choose my current server, and then I started getting my Twitch drops, the current 4-hour boxes. Make sure you do that going forward, after you change servers, not before. After you change to the new PvP server, after you change to the new PvE server, I would say you do this every time you change servers, every time a season ends, just to make sure you get your Twitch drops claimed. If you have any troubles going forward, remember that I told you this. This is how you do it. You go here to the main site, you go to link now, you unlink your account, and you relink it again, and then it'll start to work. The rewards for the Twitch drops are going to be a painter's mask and a DBSG a double barrel shotgun skin. I don't like that they showed off the cat skin there, because I thought that was going to be included, but it was just a little bait. The winter stream is going to be showing up in October, sometime in the middle of the PvP thing. The main thing they talked about is the fact that there's going to be new survival mechanics. You're gonna have to worry about heat and cold now. If you log into the game right now, go over here to your menu, you're gonna notice that when you mouse over your character body, they've added 2 new stats here. They've added heat resistance to when you're underweight, cold resistance when you're overweight, and they've added temperature recovery speed when you're in the middle. These are new stats, and I imagine they are tied to the way of winter that's coming in mid-October. Survival elements are hit and miss with me. I already don't like managing my food and water, but I'll do it. I always hated managing cold. I don't know how they're going to go about doing it, because right now your clothing is your gear sets. So are they going to introduce a new layer of gear that's going to have to deal with being cold and being hot? I'm very confused by it, especially in this system with the costumes and all that. It's gonna be kind of immersion breaking to have people running around butt naked like they are now, or in flip-flops and sandals and stuff in the winters. But you know, we'll see how they go about doing it. They haven't discussed any details at all about the new season, so everything about this stream was talking about just the PvP things, and nothing beyond the little hints they've given about what the winter stream's gonna be. There's nothing else that I think is worth covering in this event, right? I think that everything that I talked about so far is all that's important. If there's anything else in there, I mean, you can tell me in the comments, and I'll make a video about it and talk about it and give you my thoughts on it. So far, I am going to be doing this PvP event. I'm not a PvPer. Don't expect any crazy highlight reels from me. I don't have any Twitch-based shootings. I don't play FPS games. The last FPS shooter I played was Modern Warfare 2. I am a proficient player. I will be able to get this done, but I don't expect to be topping any leaderboards when it comes to doing any of the PvP related things. I just expect to be able to finish this with whatever objectives are on that list. So that's all I got for that. So far, this is a detour. Because Starchrom is available, I'm going to be doing it. But to me, I don't know how I feel about the future of this game until I read those 1.3 patch notes and see them adjust things that need to be adjusted. I need to feel them actually change the prime war lag. I need to see how they manage the controller situation, because it is a situation. I don't like the current system. I'm down to 60 controllers today, and that's purely from me just participating in Prime Wars right now. I've burned through, which I already knew was going to happen. In the last, I would say, 30 hours, I burned through 187 controllers. So when people don't understand, like, you're getting 56 a week and thinking that's okay, you're not playing hard enough. I've been opening boxes without using any controllers. You are getting rewards for it, but I don't like that. Right, I haven't been doing the Manibus arms, so I've been getting my controllers normally, but when I get them, I'm not really opening boxes. I haven't been doing any dungeons anymore because I'm gonna run out of controllers. And I'm in a situation now where it's like, how should I spend the last of my controllers? And I don't like being in that situation. I need to completely remove controllers from the game. I don't understand what value they add to the game, alongside the weekly phases, alongside every other time-based lockout. I think this is a system that needs to really be removed completely. So I got to see how they handle that. I have to see how they handle the weekly phases, if they're going to keep doing what they did before, which is basically gate players off for the first 4 weeks. Like I said earlier, if they went forward and said we're going to have this accelerated 19-day cycle, I'd be completely okay with it, where it's still 6 weeks long, but everything is squished into the first 19 days, so you can be in the end game for the last 3 weeks of it. I'd be okay with that. I don't like the wish machine. I'll deal with it, but I don't like it. But so far, I really do enjoy the game. I do want to keep playing it. I want to play it in tandem with Path of Exile, because that's my other main game. Path of Exile 2 is coming out. New season of Path of Exile is coming. I do jumping back and forth to that game, but that game is like my main game that I always keep playing. I would put ONCEHUMAN on that level, but they need to deal with all this time gating stuff they have going on here. They gotta pick one. They like the weekly purification, the controllers, the weekly lockouts, the limitation on Starchrom. There's so much time gating going on here that I don't understand who this game is really for. People with too much time can't really play it. People with not enough time can't really play it. You're kind of in a limbo where if you miss any kind of gameplay, you get left behind. If you play too much, you get stuck on a ceiling, and I don't get why. I don't understand why it's like that. That's gonna be it from me today, guys. I appreciate you guys as always for dropping by and giving me your time. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below if you disagree with anything I said. If you're excited for the game going forward and the new PvP scenario and you're gonna be playing, let me know what faction you're gonna choose. I'm leaning towards Rosetta because I think their clothing looks cool. Yes, I understand the lore. I know they're crazy. They're cultists, and we probably should be sick when May flies, but you know, the drip comes first. Everything for the fashion. But like I said, my choice is going to be heavily influenced by whatever server Asmongold is on, whatever faction he chooses, because I will not be trampled underfoot. I wish it was a good morning. If this is still a video watching me today, good afternoon, or good night.